Welcome in to another episode of Our Sisters Keeper, the Tyler Perry Sisters unofficial live after show and podcast, hosted by me, your good sis you love to talk TV with, and
Your girl Allie Nick giving it to you when I give it to you, but always in the nick of time.
y'all better be grateful that Allie's always in the nick of time because Erica's ass is not. We literally recorded 25 minutes of this for me to realize that Allie's audio was not working because I didn't switch over something because I was recording Beyond the Gates videos prior to and I forgot. And the conversation was so good. I apologize, friend.
It's fine.
You was about to say something. Though. You said, you know what?
But I was gonna tell Erica off camera, but we're recording now. God has the most amazing sense of humor.
Yes.
Erica and I, as you guys can tell with the title of this video, we're talking about suffering. This could be a prime example of how you handle situations, the art of suffering well. Because as she said, we recorded 25 minutes of a video and you guys could not hear my audio. And, I laughed because I said, isn't it so befitting for us to be talking about the art of suffering well? And we sitting up here recording the video. And when I tell you the points were pointing,
The
okay?
points were
The points were
pointing.
pointing.
And we
They
don't
were on
rehearse before this,
point.
y'all. Like,
We
we
don't.
have
We
very
don't.
brief conversation. This is honestly a spin-off conversation from something that came up with our Aaron video way back in, like, March or some crap. I don't know. We really just be on here and we have a conversation, and it's so wonderful, the chemistry in our conversation. And now we have to try to redo it.
Yeah.
But to your
And that's
point,
what's so
that's
funny
that's
about it.
valid though. That's so valid because I could get very pissed and like be kicking myself and like drop
Mhm.
my mood for the entire thing and like not let it
Yeah.
go. Or I could double check the audio, confirm that I was right, that there was a mistake, and then hurry up and start the tape again and like be able to do this now. Definitely
Yeah.
apologize and like hold myself accountable because it's a mistake on my end. But like to your point, how do we handle the suffering? And you even being willing and down. Like I've had so many technical difficulties. Allie's like, girl, don't worry about it. And I'm just like, you sure? Because I'm terrible.
I know. I've been like, girl, it's okay. It's okay. Come on.
It's so
We can do it.
so much
We
going
good.
on. But that
We
this is
good.
such a great example. And you're
We
right.
good.
The Lord is the best comic ever because not you giving us a real life example in
Yes.
us creating this particular video on this particular day with this particular subject. Lord, glory.
Yeah, girl. You feel me? Because it's a lot of people, like Erica said, when we get before y'all, we do not have like we have an outline of the certain points we want to hit. There are certain times we don't even talk about those things that are we just flow. So it's not, oh, I know I'm gonna say about this, and it's not that we literally just sit here and have a conversation, and you guys happen to be in on the conversation with us. It's not anything that we sit down and there's an outline for what we are to say. So it's interesting, but it's so funny because I'm like, wow, we're talking about the art of suffering well, and here it is where God has given us a prime example of what to do. Because there's a lot of people who will turn on the camera and speak about things that they're not living and speak about things that they don't do. And this is a prime example of what happens when things don't go your way, when you plan, when you prepare, and boom, it don't work out. What you do, you got to regroup, got to have integrity, got to have character, and this is what it is. So y'all had a front row seat of
Front
what
row
happens
shot.
when you suffer well. You feel me?
And it is important to do
Yeah.
so. And honestly, we started the last part off with like explaining the art of suffering well because it sounds crazy in your ears, right? Like it lands on your ears and you just like, wait a minute, I don't want to suffer. The longer you live on this lovely space rock, the more you learn that suffering is a part of life that will never actually be divorced from it. The longer you live, the more breaths you take, the more steps you take, or however you move about the world, there's going to be big and small acts of suffering going along with all of your wins, going along with even some of the neutral moments. It is part of kind of like the yin and yang of this world. And what we're seeing in the Sisters universe with certain characters also, you know, mirrors real life. In like the moment that you are able to navigate down moments, navigate negativity, and suffer well, right? It's the moments where you grow the most from some of the deepest valleys. It's the moment that you are able to really push through and make it out of whatever that thing is. The art of suffering well ultimately is not necessarily the art of like enjoying feeling terrible or feeling down. It is quite literally the, I think, the act of going through whatever the hardship, whatever the negativity, whatever the hurt is, and then not breaking, not losing yourself, and then not allowing yourself to get stuck in it, but like literally moving through it. And I think that's going to be mirrored as we discuss some of the characters within this series, which is Sisters. But of course, we're going to inject, because it's Allie and I, we're going to inject some of the stuff in reference to
Yeah.
real life. What does the art of suffering mean to you, Allie? I'm sorry, the
It
art of
means
suffering
that
well.
the art of the art of suffering well means that I have a it tells me that I have an option.
Mm,
I know for a fact that I'm going to suffer. I can decide if I'm going to allow myself to suffer well, or I'm going to allow myself to suffer in an unhealthy manner.
mm,
To me, to suffer well in an unhealthy manner is easy because it yields to the emotions that comes along with suffering. You know, you feel down, you feel bad, it's painful. I don't want to talk to nobody. I want to be in the cocoon. Let me be in my house with my comforter over my head. So it's easy to suffer in an unhealthy, unwell environment that you may put yourself in, because it aligns with the emotions that comes along with that.
yeah.
If I choose to suffer well, that means I am making a conscious decision to find the purpose in my suffering, to find what's on the other side of that suffering, to find out what character traits is trying to be produced within me during this moment of suffering. So it's really just about having the decision to change the perspective on the way I choose to handle suffering. Because as you stated in the beginning, it's never going to be something we can divorce ourselves from. Suffering is a part of life. And something I mentioned, we were discussing it earlier, is that my favorite scripture in the Bible is Hebrews chapter 5, verse 8. And it says that even though Jesus was the Son of God, he learned obedience from the things that he suffered. And even applying that to some of the characters in Sisters, there are very few characters, but there are at least two I can think about right now who has decided to pivot. And when you pivot in your suffering, you do get the reward at the end because you've overcome that obstacle, which 9 times out of 10 is yourself. You know, you overcome that mindset when you choose to pivot, when you choose to look at it for what it is and decide that I'm going to go through this in a healthy way so that my suffering can be well, so that I can obtain all that is in store for me. So that's what suffering well for me looks like, making a conscious decision to suffer in a healthy environment, meaning who I am holistically, my mental state, emotional, psychological, spiritual, so on and so forth.
Yeah. And to add on to that, I think also the art of suffering well is not denying the state of suffering that you might be in, but being able to be honest with it, being able to be truthful with yourself and those around you about it, whatever those feelings are. The art of suffering well doesn't mean that you don't ever hurt, or when you are hurt, you play like you're not hurt. It means that you say that you're hurt, but you also seek to investigate why you're hurt, and then what's the why behind the why, versus like Ali said, just leaning on the immediate feelings that pop up and like reacting based off of the negative emotions that might be the initial draw for you in the feeling or the state of being hurt. So yeah, and we have a lot that we could learn from some of the characters who are suffering well and not suffering well within the series.
Yeah.
um we kind of set the tone in reference to Aaron being the pinnacle of what the art of suffering well looks like in the Sisters universe, and we really utilize his journey in romance with Karen as that particular like the characterization of that particular journey for him. He is a character who's received so much criticism and so much like disrespect as it pertains to his journey of pursuing Karen. And I have had so much reverence and honor and joy in watching the journey just because I know how hard it would be to persist and to find resilience in a circumstance where this person who you desire for their heart to be yours, or you have already talked to God and he told you that this person's heart is yours, but you're at a point in life where it's not there yet, and you have to be able to stand tall and stand true in your knowing while also helping that person navigate the seas that look very weird and look and can get very tumultuous, and it's tossing this girl every which way. Her head is not on her shoulder straight, and she thinks that she's still in love with her ex, but you know, and God told you that this woman is for you. And you got to be able to see it through. There were so many times where people just advocated for Aaron to drop Karen and forget about Karen and to let Karen go, and he never did. And now we're finally, 8 seasons later, walking into the fruits of what the labor and suffering well looks like, where they are building their new life, they are entering into their relationship, and it's from a place where Karen can fully give herself and can trust herself, and now really understands the value in it, because while she might have saw the value in him as a man when they first met, now she understands her value in a very real way as well, so that the combination of them two together in the partnership, she truly understands what that value means, which ultimately sets them up for the true healthy thing that God spoke about to him well before this actually happened. So I think that Aaron is the perfect example for what suffering well could do if you are that type of character who's going to commit to that within your journey. What's your thoughts, Ellie?
Girl, let me just say, because you said something that you said a lot that was so true. But the thing that really hit me is when you talked about how Karen, because as you were speaking, I was like, and his suffering was not for naught. It wasn't where he
Yeah.
was, suffering due to a woman who had no type of attraction to him, that had no type of interest in him. It was where she understood the benefit that he would have in her life, but she hadn't yet come to the place of realizing what she could offer him. And the things that she
Mm-hmm.
did feel she could offer, it was like, you deserve so much more than what I'm willing to give. But she had to go through a moment of suffering, go through a moment to pivot. And that's what really got me, that when, yes, God spoke this to him, and he was always in a position to receive it. But just think about the patience that he endured. So now that he got it, it's a healed person, not her still trying to figure out, and just her happy, this, well, he here, let me just do this. No, no, no. He waited, he persevered, and that is suffering well, because you
Yeah.
have to be around this woman. No, not that you have to. You chose to be around this woman who, her heart was still someplace else. That's a suffering, because I love you, I want to be with you, I want to make your life better, and you still won't choose me.
And not even just be around her, but like choose to, like, you're opting into her life, but you're also daily opting in to the journey that is her getting over this person, and you can see the journey way clearer than she can. So while she's in the muck and the mud of like trying to figure out, trying to release, trying to grieve the relationship, and making terrible decisions, sleeping with him, getting pregnant, doing certain things, you're still there standing 10 toes down, calm, patient, poised, and demure, because you can see well in advance of like, this is where we ultimately going to be, and this is actually part of it. It's just, to me,
Mhm.
I can't even fathom how people have so much shady to say about Aaron, because it is just so noble. Like when you really think about him and like how he has moved thus far in the series, he is the most noble character in the whole damn show.
Yes. And as I'm thinking about it, my patience, I'm not gonna say my patience have run out, but like you said, I the response when we ask people like, well, what is it? Because I do like to have dialogue. If you could tell me like, what is it about Aaron that you don't like? Why is it such a strong disdain for this character? And if you can only tell me he's hiding something, baby, shut up. It's been
Shut
six
up
years.
immediately. We not doing it
It's
no
like
more.
I can't give no more grace for that. If you can't give a better reason other than Aaron's hiding something, he's not who he claims to be.
Baby, hush.
Don't even speak.
Just
Don't
hush your
even
mouth.
speak. Don't even twiddle them thumbs to type nothing on your phone or
Please and
use these
thank
to type
you.
nothing on your laptop because we're beyond that.
Way
We are
beyond it.
so beyond that. And so this man, like you said, I think about what Karen told him. She said, "I want to want you and only you."
Mm-hmm.
But she wasn't there to tell someone, and I just think about all the conversations that they had and what it was, this tug of war
Yep.
that this woman was in. But like you said, Aaron had so much faith and hope. He was already seeing beyond where Karen was. And to me, that takes truly a strong person to not
Yeah.
get caught with what they see now and understand where you are. And he even still spoke life. It's going to get better. Karen, it won't always be this way. This is just the journey that you're on right now. But I mean, he was just so, my God, I mean, Lord, to have a man like that, to know that Alicia may not be where she needs to be for us to make this thing official, for us to make this what it's supposed to be. But Alicia, I know you're going to get there. Babe, you so close. Like to
Mm-hmm.
have someone speak that into your life, it really does change the way you look at somebody. And so now, like you said, as we're going into this next phase of the relationship, you can tell there's so much admiration that she has for him, so much love that, and even though they don't give us a lot of time with them writers, in season 8, the little time that we did see when things changed for Karen, you could just, it was just like just all over her. It was like she was just clothed
Yep.
in this newfound like perception of him that she just let herself fall so freely. And it has been such a beautiful, sometimes for me, aggravating thing to see. But we got here, and I love that we have always given grace to that journey. Is not, processes are not always linear, and they could be ugly, they could get messy, and I just love that I can speak for you and I that we have always extended grace for what that journey looks like, because we know that she wasn't playing with him and he wasn't playing with her, and so
A
I
hundred
really
percent.
do, yeah, enjoy what we are now with them.
100%. And honestly, the character of Aaron, I think, really helps solidify a conversation within the Sisters universe about the concepts of suffering for love versus the concept of suffering from love. And I think that is like the crux of like suffering well, or the art of suffering well, is having clarity in reference to what you're suffering for. And if that is positive, then ultimately I think the suffering winds up having a positive result, even if it feels bad in the meantime. Versus suffering from love, not so much. What you think, Allie?
Oh, definitely.
What's the
Baby,
difference for
that's
you?
suffering, just taking Aaron for example, suffering for love. It's just even the way, the intentionality in that, because it was almost like, because suffering for love for me is not self-serving, it's for a bigger purpose, it's for a bigger cause. And to me, you have to have that in your mind, because if it's just about sex, if it's just about having this person on your arm, if it's just to claim rights that you won, you're not gonna suffer for love. Like, you're not gonna be able to withstand all the distances, all the distraction, all the rejection that comes along with that. But when you're suffering from love, my Lord, and I'm about to say a name I know y'all don't want me to say, and you're not gonna like that I'm about to say it,
But you'll get
but
over
there's
it.
a difference. You will. And there's a difference when you're suffering from love. And to me, Fatima is a prime example of what it
Baby,
means to suffer
prototype.
from love. You yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's
And
what
it's so
suffering.
crazy because it feels like they both entered the Sisters universe as like the same character in various genders to
hmm
attack on opposite ends this toxic couple that needed to separate but also needed something to pull them apart, right? So we got Aaron over here pulling Karen, and we got Fatima over here pulling Zach. And Karen lucks up and gets the man who is capable of suffering for love. And Zach, now I won't say lucks out because he honestly lucks up in finding the woman or finding the person who's going to suffer from love, because she just is the dumping ground for all of his bullshit and his immaturity and his lack of emotional intelligence and stability. And it's so sad to watch. It's like crazy because we just have such stark differences to like the popular opinion around Aaron, and then that has also translated to a stark difference in the popular opinion around Fatima. I truly feel sorry for Fatima in this relationship with Zach. Like, I would not wish this Fatima relationship on any person, including my worst enemy. And it's because of that. It's because she's over there suffering from love. Which ultimately, if it's
She,
really love, I don't know if it will have you suffering like that. Versus if you are suffering for it and in the pursuit of it, it's a very, very different thing. Let us know in the comment section, what do you think about the concept of
yes,
suffering for love versus the concept of suffering from love?
that's a good one. Now, that was a good one. And if you can, if you would like to explain how you may feel that Fatima is suffering for love and not suffering from love, I would love to read if you can, actually um, explain yourself in an intellectual way about why you feel the difference in the two. But it is interesting how our perspectives are when it comes to Aaron and Fatima, because I do believe they both did come in on the show with the same purpose, and
Mm-hmm.
somehow it was just flipped. And I think a lot of that has to do with the people that they are connected to. With Zach and Fatima, everything happened so fast. Which and not that things can't happen fast and be real at the same time. It was just one of those things where he's still in love with Karen, and
Yeah.
he's just kind of using you for the moment until maybe his feelings did change. But initially that's not what it was. And you had Aaron, who was dealing with the deception of his wife at the time. However, it was just something about this woman Karen that just struck something with him. And it's a difference when a man wants to get to know you other than just having sexual intercourse with you. It
Right.
changes the dynamic where that's not the focal point of our relationship. But
Completely.
yeah.
Completely. Um, let's talk about some of the things that Aaron didn't do, because to me, Aaron's approach as one of the males within the universe was completely different than from so many of the other male characters, which ultimately, most of the things that he didn't do are the things that wind up being the crux of like his suffering well, right? Um, for me, the number one thing that sticks out is how he never really penalized Karen for her feelings for Zach, for her not moving on quickly as soon as he arrives in her life, for her volatile nature sometimes, for her distance. Like, he does not penalize her for that, and he ultimately still decides to persevere through it. Versus other male characters, the moment that the woman doesn't do something that you like, you throwing a tantrum, you throwing a fit, you giving silent treatment for 4 weeks, you sniffing around some other hoe, you sliding into some other hoe. Like, my God. God forbid a woman just be human with you niggas. Allie, what's your thoughts?
Baby, when I say Rich is gonna catch a grenade every time,
Every time.
Rich is gonna catch one every single time. I agree with that. It's Aaron has had so many reasons to blow up at Karen if he really wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
It really shows who he is as a person, because as we stated throughout the beginning of the video, until now, is choosing how you are going to suffer. These have been calculated, intentional decisions that Aaron has made, that she's going to try to push away from me. I'm not going to disrespect her. I'm not going to call her out her name. I'm going to always protect her. I'm going to always be there. I'm going to let her know that I'm just a phone call away. That's just what it is. And I believe every other man on the show, and if I'm wrong, please correct me. Every other man on this show, other than Aaron, has showed his natural behind when these women have done something or said something that did not line up to whatever fantasy they had fashioned in their mind, whether they called them out their name, whether they disrespected them in ways that are just ridiculous, ungodly, whether they have, as you say, given them the silent treatment, ghosted them, tried to make them jealous by having another woman on their arm or in that woman's face. I believe every other man that we have met on this show, with the exception of maybe El Fuego, just because he's not even on he wasn't on
And
the
he
show that
wasn't
much.
on long
They
enough.
have all,
And
yeah,
she
but
never
wasn't long
really
enough to do
accepted
that.
his. Yep.
Correct. They've all done
Including
that.
you, Jordan.
They've all done that. Yes. Absolutely. Every last one of them.
And this is not to
Yeah.
say that you have to just take anything that the woman puts out there, because nobody is saying that. But it just speaks to you as a man moving with a lack of purpose if you are so easily moved by your emotions in that way. Aaron was not shaken and or stirred by everything that Karen threw at him because he had an ultimate goal and he knew where they were going. And that the destination mattered more to him than all the things that he would have to do in the journey, right? But these men are running around here crying about, oh, I want to be with you, and oh, I see with you, and you are serious, and blah, 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 blah. But then you're shaken and stirred every time they take a damn business meeting, the Turks and Caicos. You shaken and or stirred anytime another man is looking their way when they are a fine ass woman. Andrea Barnes has always been fine, always will be fine. Any man that winds up on her arm needs to go ahead and be okay with every other man looking her way. What are you talking about? But it's all of those things, the combination of the little and the big, that just shakes y'all to y'all's damn core. Meanwhile, Aaron over here ain't shaking and or stirring, and he walked in on Zach throwing Karen's ass up against the wall. You niggas don't know love. You niggas don't know soulmates. You niggas don't know faith, purpose. And then some of y'all want to be in the audience, want to be arguing with Allie and I about some damn Aaron Carter. Y'all can't tell us shit about Aaron Carter. Here, he watched that man throw Karen's ass up against the wall in her office, and then brought his ass out and set up that damn shampoo bowl. Like, okay, I guess we need to talk. Rich, your ass would have been halfway to Tijuana with 16 bitches if that was you. Halfway to Tijuana. Jordan, your ass would have been drunk somewhere on somebody's corner here. Tony, your ass would have been in Germany with your ex-wife by the night. This is not even a video about that, but the art of suffering well, people. It's time to get with it, because you niggas is lost.
Yes.
Especially because, like, I would be remiss if I don't say women are actually expected to suffer well all the time. We only are really noting this because we don't see Aaron Carter's out in the wild, if ever. And then when we do see it, y'all want to overly criticize it. But when it's a black woman specifically, oh no, you supposed to take it. You supposed to eat that cheating. You supposed to eat that illegitimate ass baby. You supposed to eat the disrespectful ass mama. You supposed to eat the baby mama coming out of left field, or the ex-wife coming out of left field with a smile on your face. Ready to kiss you know what the next morning. Absolutely the hell not. I feel like we have deviated, friend. I don't know.
But no, and it goes in line, because just like we were saying, we're talking about, the things that Aaron didn't do, and everything that you named were things that these other men did that he did not do. And that's why I was like, we have so many examples of what these other men have done that Aaron has not done. And even going back to what you said, Black women on this show, they are expected to suffer. It's amazing to me how many Black women found comfort and humor in Karen's suffering. Yet and still, and even some of this, I saw wild comments today that people have. I just want her to leave them alone. She's not bothering them. Child. She's not doing that. And the
only
fact
was
that
at that
people
doofy ass duplex because Fatima called her over there. Why couldn't you take your ass to her salon? Ain't you the damn paralegal?
I'm just saying. Why she had to be at your house? But that's the thing, is like, well, I want this to happen so that she can leave them be and Zach don't have to worry about her. I said, oh baby, but be careful what y'all wish for. That's all I'm saying. Be careful.
So we're gonna act like Zach not gonna worry about it regardless.
Be careful what you and don't let it be hit. Oh, I don't want I hate to say this, but I want her to miscarry his baby. Do
Mm-hmm.
you not think the bond that is created when two people have lost a child? Like, that's why I say be careful what y'all wish for. That's
Hello?
all I'm gonna say on that, and I'm gonna leave it alone.
But y'all don't
But
hear her
with
though.
Aaron, y'all don't hear they don't. But when I think about Aaron, and there have been times where we have seen him get to the point where he's irritated and he's frustrated because everybody has a cap. But one thing I will say, I love that he's never disrespected her,
Yeah.
regardless of him being upset, not liking how things go, telling Karen, hey, you need to talk to Zach because this has been going on too long. I'm getting tired of it. You need to fix this, talk it out. And never disrespected her. Never had to call her no B word. I think about Fatima, and I think about the number of times that Zach has called her out her name. The number of times that Zach has lied about being sexually involved with other women, only to make her feel jealous or make her feel some type of way. But the overall consensus of, well, she know that man love her. What?
Baby, the devil is a liar.
What? How many your grown behind man, you lying on your penis. You lied about being with Karen. You lied about how that whole situation happened. You lied about effing Connie. Told Fatima that's what you did. Why? The the ability to tell this woman how much she means to you, you my wife, but you put her in a position to suffer. And it doesn't
Constantly.
bother you. It doesn't
Constantly.
bother you. That's I'm good on you, bro. As he loved to say bro so much, good on you. But they've all done these things, and Aaron has yet to do them. And I think how it's worded, like he didn't penalize her,
Mm-hmm.
that says a lot. I'm choosing to penalize you because my ego is bruised.
Yep.
I'm choosing to penalize you because I don't know how to function with emotional intelligence and maturity. So I resort back to childhood. You hit me, I'm gonna hit you back. If I think you stepped on my shoe, I'm gonna push you. So you're just resorting back to a child's mind. Not even resorting back, you're functioning in a child's mind. You just don't have a child's body, which a lot of men are walking around here with a child's mind,
Hello.
doing child's
Hello.
play, but you just have an adult body.
Hello.
That's it.
And Karen, I'm
That's it.
sorry, and Aaron's restraint in so many of the normal tactics for penalizing their woman for their misbehavior or they're not returning affections to the degree in which they expect. Ultimately, to me, solidified him operating in his own dignity. Now, I know that plenty of people are like, well, uh, Aaron don't have no dignity if he's still running after Karen. I think that he proved that he actually does have dignity because he decided who he is as a man, told everybody around who he is as a man, and then proceeded to show up as said man, regardless of what the circumstances were, regardless of how her emotions shifted. He did not shift who he was at his core, all in response to somebody else. And most of the other characters in the universe, including some of the women, cannot actually say the same. And that to me speaks to dignity above all else than the lies. Because Zach want to tell you that he's a great father. When do we see it? Zach want to tell you that he's a great partner and he loves Fatima down. So does love look like you bringing her food that you actually eat in her damn office, to which you make her look bad every single time you do this? Does love look like you calling her 16 bitches and 5 hoes? Does love look like you lying about who you slept with? Does love look like you going to the next door neighbor's house and telling her, I'm trying my best out of you right now? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Rich, does love look like, oh, and I want to be with Sabrina forever, look like you sliding up in Penelope's whole ass down at your raggedy ass juice shack? Aaron is quite literally who he says he is, and you niggas is lying. But you know.
That's what it is. That's what it is. They lying. Hmm. That's exactly what it is. Yes.
And
Mm-mm.
Aaron also demonstrates the payoff that comes with patient love. To your point of like how fast Fatima and Zach move, they could have definitely benefited from a slower burn in love, uh, a little bit more patience. But I think in the desperate nature that both Zach and Fatima came to their relationship with, that is the thing that was the accelerant pushing their relationship to go as fast as it was. And ultimately, the result is yes, y'all in a relationship, and yes, y'all are supposedly welcoming a baby yourself, but you are welcoming a baby and supposed to be about to marry a man who is not a great partner and a great fit for you. He is not ready for you, Fatima, quite literally, which is why we watch you do all of the damn emotional, mental, and sometimes the physical labor within y'all's damn relationship because you have bent any of the standards that you used to have, if they were actually there to begin with, to allow space for this man to occupy time and space in your life when he quite literally is not qualified. But and Aaron and Karen are able to suss through all of that. Aaron is now actually given a woman who is the most qualified. Because I would argue that Karen was definitely qualified to be in a relationship with him at the beginning, even with a broken heart
Mhm.
from Zach, just because of what she led with and how much she had to give to that relationship. Just transferring it over to Aaron would have still given more than what Zach is given to Fatima. But now he has the most qualified version of Karen. And honestly, Karen has the most qualified version of him because he knows all that it took for her to get there. So it's even sweeter now that they are there.
Yeah. And I think that's the beauty of it for me, seeing where they are now, is because he was there throughout the whole thing. He was able to witness front row seat, as her journey of becoming her better self. And even for him, like you said, because there was a time after that last situation when she asked to be left alone, he left her alone and
Mm-hmm.
allowed her the space that she needed to get clarity, to truly heal and move on from Zach, to understand I'm about to have this child. I'm not with the father of my child. And what does that look like for me in my life? And even when Aaron came back, she didn't really welcome him with open arms. No, she
Yeah.
had to tell him that he was the father to one of the children. I always believe that Karen still dealt with, I don't know if I'm good enough.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't know. I just don't know that I'm good enough. And I think it's something to discuss, because I remember someone in our comments one day, and I could respect the opinion. They just felt that Karen was just extremely dismissive towards Aaron, and believing that a man shouldn't have to go through all of that. And I believe both of our responses was, but we women do it all the time, and it's not a problem. It's as you stated, it's almost to be expected. The fact that people got mad at Karen for choosing herself when she no longer wanted to be with Zach, people was like, well, he trying. Ah, where is he
Child.
trying? But I understand we have been conditioned
Yep.
and programmed to believe that a woman carries the child, births the child, takes the child to school, feeds them, and all the extracurricular activities. They're not with the father anymore. The father decides to buy a pair of shoes, and he's expecting to receive a standing ovation. I'm sorry, no, that's not even the least you could do. Buy some shoes while that woman doing A through Z, and you just bought some shoes. I give you credit for what?
Ah!
But the expectation, well, at least I'm doing something. You ain't doing jack. That's nothing.
At all.
That's nothing. Yeah, but let a man raise the child, and a woman come and do shoes. The same type of, I would say, the narrative that you would have, that she ain't no good. She just showed to buy that baby some shoes. What kind of mother is that? But when a man does it, girl, well, at least he trying. He doing something, girl.
Mm-hmm.
No, they gets none for me. And I think maybe because majority of my life I was raised by a single mother.
Mm-hmm.
Don't no man get no clap on the back for me because you bought some shoes for your child. That's the least, that, like I said, that's not even the least you can do. But that's what we see with Aaron and Karen and Zach and Fatima. The things that Zach is doing. Oh, I'm gonna just come in there and bring you breakfast. Why don't you cook? Why don't you make her well, it's like, it's just you're doing the bare minimum, like you said, and you come and you eat the food. What are you coming for? And the fact that, and I know people be like, well, y'all be saying it because he's done it multiple times.
Multiple times.
Multiple times.
I'm sick of it.
Like, what is happening?
And he walk in there
What
like
is
he ain't got to
happening?
check in with nobody, walk right past the receptionist, everything. So damn disrespectful. Lucky I ain't a part of that firm because he'd have been arrested messing around with me out of spite. I'm not even calling security. I'm calling the police.
Because
I don't
I
know who this person
mean,
is.
no, I don't know who this person is. That is it. He just show up. He just show up.
Oh, shout out to Aaron for being our gold standard for so many
Yes.
things.
Yes.
Especially this, and definitely being the spark for this conversation. But from the tippy top, let's go ahead to straight to hell, honestly. Because for every
Third level hell.
for every damn near perfect example for the person who is suffering well, we should definitely have a person who is 100% not suffering well. And for me, that is the character of Daniella King. Suffering horribly, just terribly. Suffering has become stagnation. What's your thoughts, Allie?
If there was a dictionary that said suffering horribly, it would have Danny's face on it.
Yep.
Because she is the epitome. She is the prime example of what it means to suffer horribly and choosing not to suffer well. I think with Danny, did just going all the way back to season 1. And I remember we began to unpack a lot of the things for the character of Danny, just certain things we began to unpack within the first 1 or 2 episodes of the series. It was a lot of information given to us about the character of Danny. And when I think about just some of the things that she has gone through, and more specifically, just her trauma within the past, I'm going to say 3 seasons, the last 3 seasons of Sisters. Mm-hmm. The way that Danny has been able to, and I'm not saying that Tony is the best man. However, he's probably been the best man that Danny has had.
For sure.
And probably the most attentive to her emotional and mental needs. When Danny told that man that he was using her trauma basically as a way to control her, I said, wait a minute. We gotta stop right there. When you are choosing not to take responsibility and accountability for the things that you've done, I'm not blaming Danny for a man putting his hands on her or anything like that. But there are a lot of things that Danny do just as far as her person that she believes I can do it, it just can't get done to me.
Yep.
And when it gets done to me, I'm going to blame everyone else for this happening and not looking within and doing the necessary work that I can suffer well, because this is somebody who doesn't really have money, not because she doesn't have a good job, but because she spends it on marijuana. So your friends pay for your groceries. I don't know how your bills getting paid. I don't know all of that. But going back to not being able to overcome certain obstacles because you choose not to pivot. You choose not to change your perception on certain things because it's always somebody else. I'm trying.
This man is
I'm doing the best that I can.
against you while also not knowing anything about said trauma because you won't talk to him.
Okay.
That's the part that, like, when I really said, you're using my trauma against me. All I know is that you're doing some wild shit, and you're probably doing it because of some trauma back there. But I have no idea what the trauma is. I don't know what instances it is. I just know something ain't right, girl. You waking up in your damn sleep in my arms. You being distanced to me, with me in this relationship. You don't talk about a damn thing if it's not penis, weed, and with alcohol. And I'm using your trauma against you? Girl, you're using your trauma against your damn self. What are we talking about?
Thanks.
Danny pisses me off, and we about to be back in Danny's season. I'm not ready for
that. That's tea there, girl. We will probably talk about that later on this on the season 9 trailer. But I understand not being ready. I understand.
She literally told that man he's using her trauma against her while also never disclosing what the trauma is. That using your trauma against you will be like, that's why that man did that to you. Everybody ain't trying to hurt you in sex. Like, gaslighting you and saying those type of things would be using your damn trauma against you. Telling you, babe, you have woken up out of your sleep in a cold sweat and hollering for the fifth time in a row, I think you should talk to somebody. It's not using your trauma against you, ho.
Facts.
Suffering
Just not
horribly.
suffering well. Not suffering well. I'm talking about just not suffering well. And it's interesting too because the episode right before the season finale, when she had an opportunity to me to exercise
Mm-hmm.
responsibility for the things that she did in that whole situation. Even with Tony, he wasn't on the up and up, either. There were certain things that he did as far as getting her in that program, so on and so forth. But the fact that Danny would actually try to have this man lose his job when he has children, like the way that she handled that. My thing is, okay, Danny, and okay, Tony, what is it about this woman? I mean, I have several reasons, but what is it about this woman that keeps you around when she's literally showing you exactly who she is? Because to me, that would have been a moment. They're already going to give you this money. Even if her and Tony had a conversation afterwards when he came over to the house, it was still no responsibility and accountability on her end at all. Everything was his fault.
Yep.
Everything, choosing not to pivot, choosing not to see things from a different perspective. So you find yourself back in the same type of situation. Now you got to deal with another man in your life that's possibly about to leave it. And here we are yet again. Same thing.
But
When you gonna get
y'all love
tired?
each other though. Mm.
Yeah. I never thought we'd be here. Who you telling?
Y'all getting married.
That's gonna be
So
child.
accepting a ring while also never really communicating that you want to be married. You already communicated that you don't like children. You literally have been in relationships that you have built on sex and sex alone, and you speak to wanting to have sex so that you can do it before somebody tries to take it from you in order to try to have some type of control over the circumstance. Knowing all of that about yourself and then still choosing to get engaged after trying to get this man fired and feeling like he has tried to turn you into somebody that you're not when he has quite literally only been calling the best out of you and putting you in position to get the best out of yourself in your circumstance. She is literally the prototype for not suffering well. Anything that would be her suffering better or her being able to learn something from her moment of suffering or be accountable to her moment of suffering, she's going to choose the other way or the other thing.
Mm-hmm.
She quite literally don't want to
Mm-hmm.
come out of it. And
And
honestly,
that's the
I'm leaving her
thing.
ass there in season 9 because I can't.
I'm
I,
I'm glad that's what she does, and that's the thing. She doesn't want to come out of it. And I do want to be very clear because, like, when we talk about the different people that we're going to discuss, when I think about Danny, and people may say, "Well, how is she suffering, or what is she going through?" We know that Danny, just like with any other character or any other person, we all have our own traumas. We all have things that we deal with internally, the way we may view ourselves, the lack that we may be in currently. We all have those things. We all get into funks. Now, it's a difference between being in a funk, and there's a difference when that funk becomes your lifestyle. And for Danny, it has become her lifestyle. But it's not because she doesn't have the tools. She has a therapist. You have friends who you choose to belittle instead of esteem so that you can have truly, in my personal opinion, a great foundation where they can stir the pot a little bit like Danny. We do recognize that when this happened, you resort to this.
mm-hmm.
You should be able to have conversations like that with your friend without offense stepping in. And even if the spirit of offense comes in, you know these people well enough to know they have your best interest at heart, so your response should be different. Do
Yeah.
we err at times? Yes, we do. But with Danny, it's that is always the constant. I'm always going to fire back when someone calls me out. I'm always going to throw venom when I feel like they're trying to expose something that I want to keep hidden. And so when you're dealing with someone like that, that's choosing not to suffer well. So I just wanted to make, sure, because I don't want people to feel like, oh, y'all just picking on certain people. It's no, based on what we have seen on the show, Danny chooses. She does the same. She's like a merry-go-round. She
Yep.
does the same thing over and over and over again and expect different results. And sadly, because the writers have their favorites or whatever they're doing, you choose to give this woman $75,000 and she didn't deserve not a penny of it.
At all.
So what exactly are you trying to say? So you see that, then you have people like me and Erica come and say, well, she's not suffering well. Well, at least, I mean, hell, she got $75,000. Yeah,
For
because
now.
you know, I guess you know how that's
She
gonna
has it
go.
for
But
now.
so, so I'm
The
just
same way
like,
that
but
Zach had
that
2 million for then.
okay,
Mm-hmm. And honestly,
okay,
the root of her not suffering well is her inability to take accountability for the things happening in her life. Even with Aaron,
yes,
right? Like, he's not in control of everything as it pertains to Karen, but he still took accountability for the things that he could take accountability for, which is what allowed him to stay in a very grounded place and I think be able to suffer well in traversing the journey that was getting to a better place and getting into a healthy relationship, romantic relationship with Karen, right? Like, yes, she's going through this breakup, but you're also choosing to be there at this particular point in her life, knowing all of it and seeing so much of it, right? You know what? Yeah, I'm choosing to do it. And because I know I'm here now and I don't want to lose out on this opportunity and she's the one for me, I'm going to stay. That is taking a certain level of accountability for what you're about to experience on your own, shoulders and moving like that. Like Ellie
yeah,
said, Danny has literally blamed everyone for everything, no matter how honest or true or right anybody putting anything back in her side of the court has been. We can go back to season 6 with the girls in their damn intervention and she decided to read everybody for their damn Hofax. We can go ahead to Rich, who just wanted her to get a goddamn therapist. We can even go to Preston before he got the offering up ultimatums and like, every single time, it's everybody else's fault. It's everybody else's problem. It's everybody else's and she never, ever, ever takes accountability. Hell, Allie is still on her ass about the apology that she went over to Karen's house to give, but never give, and got a little bit more tea and decided to run around and tell everybody the business about that. She can't even hold herself accountable in that of like, okay, it's one thing to hold yourself accountable to deliver the apology that you said that she was intended to deliver, but like, hold yourself accountable to not tell her damn business. Oh, you can't even do that either. But then if she was to say something about it, oh no, but you're wrong because you should have never told me, or I shouldn't have never been. No, bitch, no, no. And Danny will stay in this place that she's at in life, regardless of how many $75,000 fall out the damn sky magically that she don't damn deserve. She will still stay in a depressed, deplorable state. No relationship will actually survive. And the way that her friendships are only surviving is literally by the writer's hand, because this is the type of woman who would have lost all of these damn friends by now. But because it's a show and it's being written, that's why she hasn't. But Danny will not move forward ever in anything until she can learn to sit in the uncomfortability of taking accountability for her thoughts and her behaviors. Raggedy wench.
yes.
Oh, she make me so mad. I know
Oh
she gonna
God.
piss me off. I didn't even pay attention. I didn't even watch that trailer. I know you sent it to me, but I didn't really watch
Oh,
it
you
because
didn't yet?
between Divorce Sisters and
Okay,
and the damn BET Awards, I was just like, it's too much. I'm overstimulated right now. So I only
gotcha.
can guess what she's about to give next season, and I'm already still on her ass about it. Anyway, Danny's suffering terribly. Aaron's at the very top of the totem pole, prototype. She is literally what you do not do. So for all of y'all that love Danny Dan, I hope that you are not mirroring your life decisions off of Daniella King.
Please don't.
If you are, I'm worried. Let me know in the comments so I can send a prayer up for you. But middle of the road, or maybe not even middle of the road. Maybe she started out middle of the road and then is now ascended to her man.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think this is a really good thing to point out. Karen started out
Yeah,
suffering terribly, making the season of her
terribly.
suffering worse and worse with various decisions and leaning into toxic thought patterns and toxic behaviors. But now we are watching her in a space where she is suffering well, in which the hits have not stopped, right? She's still having to eat certain things, whether it's finding out that Fatima's pregnant in the damn home, right, in their damn duplex, or
Mm-hmm.
Zach trying to take the baby and says something about breastfeeding and all of that. Like, she's still being hit with certain things that can still be very, very harmful. But because she's in a season of suffering well and she's more grounded, she responds differently. She responds more maturely. She responds a little bit more healthily. And we just love to see it. How do you feel about the journey of watching Karen going from suffering poorly to suffering well?
want to say on record that for me, Karen is the only sister that we have actually watched an elevation of thinking, of mindset,
Mm-hmm.
of emotional intelligence, emotional stability. Everyone else is pretty much kind of doing the same things that they've always done. To see where she was, and I think that's something, whether you like the character or not, that is something that cannot be argued. From where we saw Karen at to where Homegirl is now, it is a completely different person.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what happens when you choose to suffer well.
Yep.
And because I know people be like, y'all don't never talk about nothing. But baby, Karen was suffering horribly, okay?
Okay.
It was not good. The suffering was
This
not
girl was
good.
making sure she felt
It
every
was,
damn bump and bruise, okay? She was making sure she felt everything that Zach dished out.
I'm like, baby girl,
Whew.
why?
Sorry to that woman.
What's happening? What's happening? Yeah. What's happening right now? And I can only imagine. It's like the whole Kiki thing. If Karen was to see a picture of herself from back then, she'd be like, I'm sorry, I don't know.
Hello?
I don't know who that woman is. Because that's not her anymore. And that's just not her anymore. But yes, she was suffering horribly with a lot of the decisions that she was making when it came to Zachary Taylor, when it came to hell, even some of the things, with Aaron,
Yep.
the constant um he's too good to be true. I don't
Mm-hmm.
believe him. There is no way this man could be who he is and want me. So I'm going to continue to put myself down. I'm going to continue to challenge his integrity as a person. Like, and she did that quite often within the seasons of Sisters. But to see Karen now, it's a beautiful thing to watch. And to me, this is how writing should be. I
Yeah.
mean, y'all drug her enough in the
Hello?
mud. You drug her enough, so it's really one of those things where her being able to handle these things before and the transformation to handling them now is definitely a true sign of maturity and understanding that there was a purpose in her suffering.
Yeah.
Like, I think, a lot of times I think it's sad because we have to lean in so much to Karen because they don't show us a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So like the rationale of where she is now, it has to be that she had a pivot in her thinking, like a shift, and maybe motherhood, was the catalyst of that, or was the thing that caused her to look at life differently and things differently. And I think even her desire with Aaron, it wasn't a quick thing. Like, I want to make
Mm.
sure this is real. I want to make sure I'm just not having this feeling because he's one of the fathers of my children. I want to make sure this is real this time. Like, because this
Yeah.
is, I want this to be permanent. So I want to be mindful how I introduce my feelings to him again. So it's like everything was intentional. And I don't believe always that Karen's dynamic with Aaron has always been intentional, but I think, it's recently everything she has done, there has
It's
been a
definitely
purpose and a meaning
intentional.
behind it. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah. And just to like summarize like the moments where we can, really speak to Karen not suffering well versus suffering well, like I think it's also generally the moments where she's unwilling to accept help versus now she's accepting help. Her lack of vulnerability or willingness to be vulnerable versus now she is willing to be vulnerable. I think that she was accountable earlier on, way more accountable than most, but there were times where she was deluding herself and fighting, certain facts. And now she's 100% in a space of like accountability, regardless of how it makes me feel. So all of that to me are the general juxtapositions around who she was versus who she is, and how she suffered poorly versus now shifting into a space of suffering well. And again, to the point I was trying to make earlier, it's like sometimes the feelings that are cultivated and the circumstances that bring up those negative feelings don't change, but your perspective and how you choose to handle it does. And that is what the art of suffering well ultimately is.
Yeah. Yeah, and when you were speaking, I thought about the hospital situation when a
Mm-hmm.
doctor came in and thought her and Zach were partners, and he was like, no, she was like, no, doctor, he's with Miss Fatima over here. I forgot her last name.
Wilson.
Fatima Wilson. He's with Miss Wilson over here. And it wasn't shade because it was like she didn't. The old Karen would not even have acknowledged Fatima.
Mm-hmm.
Like wouldn't have even know he's with Miss Fatima. That's his partner. That is not us. And it didn't. And to me, I didn't take it as a shady type of situation. But it's like even that when you're faced with those things that used to cause you to get unhinged or have an attitude, when you can see how now you process those emotions and process, those feelings, or it could have been something so simple. She left her car at Zach and Fatima house. But when Aaron showed up, okay, he said he gonna take me home. Like, you still gonna take me home? If I was trying to be messy, I'd be trying to get in that car, but everything about her actions was just completely different. And I'm so glad that we're here now. We're here now with the character because there have been true night and day.
Yes, Lord.
Night and day.
So
Thank you.
talking about some of the other characters and maybe less in depth, but like where they fall on the spectrum, right? Of like suffering well versus terribly suffering. Where would you place Sabrina?
I don't think Sabrina suffers well.
Really? I don't think she
Well,
suffers well either, but I don't know if she's as close to Danny. I don't think she's close to Danny. I think she suffers
no,
better
no, 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 no,
than
no.
seasons like 1 through 5. Karen, I think she suffers better than that.
I believe that.
Okay.
I believe that.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. She's nowhere near Danny. Um, when I thought about my answer, I was really thinking about her situation with her relationship with
Mm-hmm.
Rich.
Because that's been
And
the
my
most
saying that
suffering
she
that we've
doesn't suffer
actually watched
well.
her do.
It is.
And honestly, y'all,
It
the tipping
is.
point of like her not suffering well is also her choice to not be able to really walk away, regardless of how many times that man has pushed her away. Like Aaron was able to create distance, even though he still cared and like did whatever he needed to do in the back end to make sure she was still okay while still creating distance, preserving his dignity. Sabrina, on the other hand, is buying smoothies for the next hoe and bringing boxes of clothes down to watch this man and shoot his porno at his juice shack. Sabrina, stand up. Shit. I don't want to watch this trailer, Ellie, because they gonna piss me off so bad. I
Oh,
already know.
Sabrina gonna piss you off. I'm gonna just go ahead and tell you. Sabrina's gonna piss you off. Yeah. Because it's not an extended trailer, that little preview they give, so it's not the extended. So
Okay.
maybe we'll get more stuff with the extended. But I'm gonna just tell you straight up, friend. Sabrina gonna piss you off.
Y'all better have so many minutes of Aaron and Karen in this season. I swear to God, y'all better have it. If you want me to endure Daniella King and Sabrina's stupid ass love for Rich, and whatever the hell
Hmm.
Andrea Barnes gonna have going on now, that she gonna have PTSD after almost being shot. The world is gonna end. Now the little Miss Perfect Princess almost been shot. Child, y'all better give me Aaron and Karen on a slow drip. Here.
And I'm trying to figure out what y'all doing because y'all got my good sis like she in her sexy bag on this darn poster.
Hello.
I ain't never seen Ebony Obsidian showing so much skin like that. She looks amazing.
Amazing.
She
Stunning.
looks, but I was
Sensational.
blown. I ain't gonna lie. She does, but I was blown. I said, "Oh," I said, "So, Karen done dropped them babies, and Karen said she finna get her sexy back, cause baby,
Cause she done got her
what?
man and she about to enjoy it as you should, Miss Girl.
You
As
should, boo.
you should. What about Andy?
Yes, ma'am,
Where does Andy fall on the
girl.
spectrum?
Third level of hell, suffering horribly, suffering absolutely horribly.
Oh gosh.
Jeez,
Yeah. How
baby,
she navigated
Andy.
Gary's abuse and even the professional stuff, like her career.
It was
Andy,
robbing for me. I never thought that I would like it was Robin for me because even though he may not be like my favorite character, I don't despise the character or nothing like that. The way that he has always showed up for this woman, and I think
mm,
like even comparing, um, oh my God, what's the man name? I just said his name.
Robin.
Um, Rob, thank you. Even comparing Robin to Aaron and
Mm,
Karen and Andy, This is a man who claims he loves Andy. This is a man who has always shown that he's had her back. He's never put her in any compromising position that she was not um in agreement with. He's never done that. And the way that this man, excuse me, the way that this woman was able to liken him to Gary, slap him, say all kind of things to him, and then, and I know some people still want them together, but could you imagine if Karen had did that to Aaron?
Oh, child.
Oh, girl.
Child.
And so the people who just did the that's the bias. Because now I had to break it down because it's easy to say, oh, Karen don't want Aaron. Karen didn't never like him, but then y'all the same people
Yep.
who desperately want Robin to be with Andy. Wow.
Yep.
When you told this man he is controlling, basically he's manipulative, controlling, and abusive like Gary. Him and Gary basically the same person. And you slapped him. And you said all kind of crazy things to this man. Like, are you serious? Suffered horribly, never taking the responsibility, always blaming somebody else, thinking more highly of yourself than you should.
Ooh.
Going back to what you said about Zach, they tell us how great Zach is. They tell us how great Andy is, and we don't get an opportunity to see that.
Yep.
But to me, they show us that Aaron is great.
Hello.
And he still get backlash. But everybody else, you get told, and I'm just supposed to believe it. No.
That's what it very much so is giving. I'm just supposed to go with it, huh?
Mm-mm.
Absolutely
supposed
not.
To go with
not on my watch. What about Miss Fatima? Where's she fall on the spectrum on her art of suffering?
Fatima is an interesting cookie to me because I'm going to say she is not suffering well.
I don't think so
But
either.
I don't believe Fatima even believes she's suffering. That's the thing for me. Fatima don't even believe
even
that
though
she's suffering.
Feel it. All her life she had to fight. You can't pass a damn law school test to save your damn life. You ain't got no time to yourself. Can't take a bath. You got a child for a fiance, but you don't see the suffering. And Karen was wrong when she said, I wish you the best of luck with your suffering, sis.
With your suffering. Mm-hmm. It's not suffering for me. I know once, and then the moment that Karen closed that door, what happened? Your behind started crying because you feel it. she, and I think that's the thing too. You know, like you literally know, and let me not say maybe she does know that she's suffering. She doesn't want to acknowledge that she is. She doesn't want to say that because even when Miss Marie was saying certain things, well, I know that Zach has his faults. Baby girl, we all do. We gotta graduate from that. Hello. If you gotta keep saying it to prove something about your man, you need to evaluate. You shouldn't have to say, well, I know he's not perfect and we all have our faults. That's a given. Hello. We're all flawed. Next, every last one. You tell us how great of a man Zach is, but never can specify what makes him great. That's a problem for me.
That ain't a physical characteristic because clocking all the audiences see y'all think Zach is great because he's a light-skinned male with a body. Yeah. Okay. I agree. Fatima is not suffering well
so at all. So the moment that Fatima can begin to specify to me as an audience member what makes Zach great, then not that it will change my perspective, but at least I can say I understand why she may feel the way that she feels. I don't even know because I mean everything to me is physical. I don't know why you love him. I don't know why you are.
I feel like she would begin to start to suffer well if she was actually willing to walk away from Zach. Then I would be able to change my opinion. If she could create distance and boundaries, like if she could create standards, boundaries, and then walk away when those things are not met because Zach needs to get off the pot, then I'll be like, okay, girl, you're suffering well because yes, you want to be with this man. Yes, you see a future for you and this man, but you also understand your value. You also understand what you deserve, and you also understand it's not sustainable for you to be living the rest of your damn days with this damn boy child running around putting out every last fire that he wants to start around Atlanta because he ain't got no job.
And I like that you said that. And I even think about Sabrina, because for those who are not suffering well, what could make them suffer well? And with Fatima, I do believe is that it's creating those boundaries, walking away and creating those boundaries with Zach, even if it's not a full blown, I'm separating myself from you, but creating distance within the relationship and then creating boundaries as she is distant. Make him work for something.
Yeah.
Like, make him work for something. Even with Sabrina, what would make her, in my opinion, suffer well, it's kind of like the same thing. It's creating those boundaries, and you have to abide by what you set. Like, to me, Sabrina would be someone to make a boundary and then overstep it.
Mm-hmm.
No, because like I said, she gonna piss you off when you look at this trailer when it come to Rich. It's like something. It's like something with that. You say certain things, and then every time her and Andy could give some of the best speeches on the show, and within 15 minutes of that speech, they literally do the very thing they said they wouldn't do every
I
time.
can't.
Just stand on your word, Sabrina.
Please.
Stand on your word. Then you
Please
can
and thank
begin
you.
to suffer well. Just be a woman of your word. Period.
What about Mr. Zachary Taylor?
Lord.
He damn sure ain't suffering well, but also he don't do much of the suffering because he gets Fatima to do that. He don't have to suffer
Yes.
from all of his goddamn consequences because he has Fatima as his mule to do that. Oh, I'm sorry. Rockwaller. Got it.
And this is why I have such an issue with the Zach character. Zach, even when he was with Karen, Zach didn't have to suffer because he's always surrounded by women who are going to pick up the slack for him.
Mm-hmm.
They're always going to be there to wipe his butt, to milk him, to burp him, to make sure he doesn't have to go through anything. There's always going to be a woman there to do that. It was with Karen. Immediately once that was over, it was Danny would be in the midst of that, and it went straight to Fatima, who began to pick up those pieces that was left on the side by Karen. He's never had to really be by himself.
Yep.
So you don't suffer well because the women in your life do all the suffering. Now, people may say, well, what did Michael showed up. These are just inconveniences for Zach. There's no suffering. It's inconvenience. And what does he do with inconveniences? He pays them off.
Or passing him off.
I mean, he could have suffered. He could have, to me, what's my friend name? His first mother of his child, Heather.
Heather. Yep,
Heather,
Heather.
that could have been a perfect opportunity
To
for Zach to
suffer.
suffer well.
Yes. Figuring out co-parenting with Heather would have been the perfect way for him to suffer
Mm-hmm.
well. And attack
Yes.
his past trauma. Showing up for a mother that was quite
Yes.
like his own. Huh? Y'all need to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
But no, he don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
They immediately just get to get custody, and then Fatima gets to turn in her car, get a minivan, uh, basically fall back when it comes to law school because she's gonna have to be the one to actually raise this damn kid that has no biological
Mm-hmm.
ties to her. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Mm.
And in addition to you turning in your car to get a minivan, baby, I want you to make all organic meals. Fatima can't cook. Can't cook. What is that baby supposed to eat? That's why y'all feeding him
Child.
chicken nuggets. All organic foods. Baby, y'all feeding that baby chicken nuggets and tacos.
Zaccos, Allie. Be clear,
Yeah, the Zaccos.
Zaccos.
Baby, there's a darn Zaccos. Mm-mm, mm-mm.
Oh
Poor
my
Michael.
god.
Poor
Oh
Michael.
my god. Yeah. Those are just a
Poor
couple of the
Michael.
characters, y'all, that we are talking about in the
Yeah.
conversation of the art of suffering well and or not suffering well. We would
Yes.
love to know your thoughts in the comment section or the chat as we are premiering this live. Let's go to why this matters as for character development because we kind of talked about it in the first recording, but Erica fucked that up. If we saw more characters suffer well, we would get overall better storytelling, in my opinion. How you feel about that?
I do. I totally agree. If we saw more characters suffer well, because to me it shows that there is a purpose in the suffering. Because most of the people, I'm just using sisters, the ones who aren't suffering well, the stories are stagnant. It's like y'all continue to do the same thing. You just bring in a different face.
Mm-hmm.
You present a different problem, but their reactions and their responses to those things are the exact same. So it's only so much story you can tell when you're unwilling to pivot a character.
Yeah.
And I believe the backlash that you and I get from been saying it from the beginning, that Karen, that the character of Karen is the show, even though the writers do her dirty at times, the way that they do it is that they create situations where people have to rally around her, where people she is the center of the focus or the attention at any particular time. And I believe if they show that, just using her character as an example, if you show that, you can see growth,
Mm-hmm.
whether you like a character or not. Whether I can't stand Danny, however, if they surprise me and begin to pivot her character where it is a genuine accountability, genuine responsibility, genuinely owning up to the things that Danny has allowed and no longer blaming other people, for me, I would have to respect that change in that character.
Yep.
And then be excited for what is going to come now that she's functioning like this. Because I don't know what that character looks like if she was to function in that way.
Yep.
The only character that I do know is has always been Aaron, but now it's Karen. There's been a sure pivot, so I'm interested to see what her character looks like now that she's here. So it definitely stagnates where the story can go when you present characters who don't suffer well.
Yeah. Um, I would just love to see it, to your point of like just the growth that we could, or that we're being kind of like robbed of because we're not getting to see characters suffer well. But then ultimately, like for from the writer's perspective, figuring out what that looks like and having characters not default to the most low hanging fruit, toxic decision, first thought decision, and like having to think about as a writer of these characters, what are the options here? What is the thing that's going to push them the hardest? Like with a character suffering, while you ultimately see characters brush up against their breaking points because they are so desperate to move through the thing that they're actually suffering in. So again, you don't have that stagnation because you see a character that's constantly taking action and making decisions within the circumstances of suffering because they want to move through this thing versus settling in honestly building the home, Daniela King, in the stagnation, in the suffering, in the no movement at all, you know.
Yeah, yeah, it's Danny, and also thinking about that too, like you said, like with the writers and how they would do that. Like I would definitely want it to be realistic and real to the character. But like you said, because I was thinking about like it has to be a breaking point and a tug of war. Like with Danny, she's the character who I believe would experience a tug of war. Like
Mm-hmm.
to me, they already had shown like little nuggets of it when Danny was thinking about the real reason she's even having sex with Tony, or why is she even going to that as her default. So it's not like y'all can't go. It's like y'all get to the stop sign and just cut the car off.
Yep.
Don't accelerate, and it's like, no, keep going. Because I believe that Danny is it is possible for that character to have that moment where maybe something happens, and before she does her Dannyism, she pauses and really reflects and make a different choice. Make a
Mm-hmm.
different I think that she can do that. I just don't understand, like, and maybe you can answer that question because you definitely have more experience, like with dealing with multiple writers. Because normally when I write, it's just me, and I may just bounce some ideas off someone. But like being in a writer's room, I'm thinking like, what would be their reason for not shifting a character after you've been doing the same thing for 6 years? Like, what
I
is I don't
mean,
like that part. I don't understand.
I think that the problem specifically for sisters is that it is a 1 hour drama Well, it's actually a soap opera masquerading as a 1 hour drama.
Mm-hmm.
And the more I watch Beyond the Gates, which I think that the writing is really solid over there, honestly, um, the more I see like how Sisters has gotten into a place of like recycling certain storylines and like storylines for storylines' sakes. Because as a writer, when you come in, right, and you have an idea for a show, if like it's an original, like I've written 3 pilots so far, and for my first pilot, I had an idea from the actual concept and then the pilot for what 4 seasons would look like. For my second pilot, I have an idea for what I think 5 seasons will look like. Um, but when it comes to soap operas, you kind of start and it needs to not end, right? Like there are certain
Mm-hmm.
soap operas now that on that 50-second season, and that's
Mm-hmm.
years. Like
Yes.
and it's like, 200 some odd episodes within a season. So I think that unfortunately Sisters is caught in a place where they have the time slot and the like outer look of a 1 hour drama that would be comparable to like a Scandal or comparable to a 1 hour Girlfriends, but they're not actually written like that. They're written like a soap opera, which is why we get such slow pacing and stagnation in reference, or the circling of the drain with certain storylines, because that's to me is like a soap opera trope versus we only have 5 seasons to tell this story. We only have 8 seasons to tell a story. Hell, most of the time for black shows, right? Like The Shy is approaching 8 seasons. They just got renewed for 8 seasons. That's monumental because we don't typically get that. All American as well. 8 seasons is gonna be the last season. You go into it as a black show,
Mm-hmm.
specifically a black drama, and you hope and pray for a second, maybe a third season, but you are going to tell the story. And in your mind as a showrunner, you come in and I got 3 seasons to tell this story. I got 30 episodes maybe to tell this story. So it's a little bit easier to give people a beginning, middle, and an end, but then to also give them a lot in each episode because you are already limited when you're going in. Versus Tyler don't have no limits. He's greenlighting his own stuff. The way he shoots makes everything so affordable. So it can go on
Mm-hmm.
however long that he still wants to do it. And I think that that is the paradox that we're seeing play out.
I feel you. I think I've always wanted Tyler to, because I, like you said, it is a 1 hour drama masquerading as or it's a soap opera masquerading as a 1 hour drama. But it's like for me, I would hope that I would like when he thought about Sisters because he really running his own stuff. Like if you want this show to go on for 10 seasons, like maybe that would help kind
Mm-hmm.
of do the like outline of the story, outline of how this thing is going to work. Because I'm looking at Beyond the Gates and I'm imagining, okay, in 6 years, I'm expecting so much to be done. Like
Yeah.
I'm looking at what's happening now and where they're going to be in 6 years, and I believe they're going to be so far advanced
Mm-hmm.
than Sisters has been, in that time. But like you said, I think the writing over there is great, is great as well. And I think that just has been my thing with Sisters. Like I understand like the soap opera ness of it all, but it's just like caring about how these kids. At the most, let's just say this show has been on in their lives a year.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, and it's like, I want to respect, because I'm trying to go into things differently. Like with Sisters, I'm not expecting much. I'm expecting us to get same old, same old. With Divorced Sisters, I didn't have any high expectations. I'm like, it just is what it is, because I understand that Tyler is writing this and he's doing all the things. It's like he did all the things with Sisters initially. So that's how I'm going into it. But I just would like to see just a tad bit more. Like just make it more real, make it realistic in a sense. If these people start doing something different, it don't have to be a complete change. I mean, hell, you sent us through what 3, 4 seasons of Karen going through her process of ridding herself of Zach, not knowing what to do, wanting to be with him, and all of this stuff like that. So I think that was a really, people didn't like to see it, but and sometimes I didn't either. but I can respect the journey.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I just feel like I don't know which other characters have actually been on a journey
That part.
like she has been. That's the thing I think
And honestly, Andy
that
should
I'm
have
like,
been primed right behind her. Like,
yes.
Andy had so much that we could really lean on in reference to that. But you're right, they haven't, given a story.
Look who decided to join us.
I'm going to, before we get out of here, I'm going to have us look at this stupid ass trailer. Let me stop. Okay, Erica, get it together. This happens before every new season of Sisters, y'all. I am not excited at all. But I be trying my damn best. Okay.
You do. You do.
And I have watched Divorce Sisters. Maybe y'all have gotten a video by the time this comes out. Maybe you haven't. Because Lord knows I'm weary. Um. Okay. I cannot really. Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to. Hold on, Allie.
Okay.
I did not prepare. What's that one? Child. I cannot fix this. As you can see. You might not be able to hear though, Allie.
That's okay. I know. I remember what it is. I can just wait to.
Okay. Y'all, I haven't watched this, so here we go, I suppose. I already feel like it's some bullshit. Alright.
We just need to take a moment to process everything that's happened.
If I go,
You go alone. I feel like I should be prepared for anything. Oh my god!
I just don't know what's next.
Why her? Out of all people! You threw it like big hands. So, what's supposed to be this new season, July 16th at 9. Watch it live.
Why you got Aaron grabbing that man's head like that? What are you talking about? Why? What the fuck? Aaron, you do not need this nigga for no strength. Hold on a second. Hold on a damn second. Where was it? Where was it, Allie? After this foolishness. Sabrina, the nigga don't even got a shirt on and you out here with him in a trollop.
You threw it like big hands.
There it is. I can't go back on this 1 second. Why are you playing, Daniella? What is that? What is Zach leading the damn prayer? That's what y'all about to tell me? Y'all about to tell me Zach leading the damn prayer? Ellie, what the is this? What am I supposed to do with
Let them
this?
black men pray. I think it's beautiful.
Fine. Allie said, let him pray, let him pray. Aaron, you don't need this nigga though. Please know that.
That is so
Why is
funny.
he kicking over? See, okay, I'm gonna do my little trailer reaction, I guess. The trailer's giving, okay. Sabrina, girl, go to hell. Daniella, go to hell. No, I already clocked that. I already knew before I even pressed anything on this. Um, I'm glad you got Karen to the damn hospital. Lord, we don't have to have the duplex babies. Gracious. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. Cool. Karen is going to have her babies. I don't give a damn about any of this hooping and hollering that's happening at this hospital. I don't. Kicking this over, it's going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine. What's your take on it, Ellie, on this season? You excited?
Oh, I'm never excited. I haven't been excited in years.
What's supposed
I
to
think
be
season
very
6 I was excited. This poster, I said,
excited.
bitch, yes. Well, first of all, this is not the Andrea Barnes and Fatima Wilson show. First of all. But aside from that, this is a all right poster. They've been doing Mignon dirty, baby. They've been doing Mignon down dirty in the last few posters. But this one here, that red, that hair, absolutely. Maybe you're gonna have some sense with this new dude. Maybe you're gonna turn over a new leaf. And then, like Ellie said, the body. Come on through. You better push through, Karen. Go put your ass on the periphery of this damn poster. But all the eyes go to the right. All the eyes go to the right. Because what was said? What was said? Novi is gorgeous, but I'm not sure what they're saying about her character in this, and I don't want to speak on it. But she's stunning. And I think it's something to how
Absolutely.
they have her looking on this poster.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the Fatima and Andy. They are infuriating my ass on this poster. Get him a show already, cause get the go. If it's just you two against the world, bye, goodbye. I need to do a video talking about all the posters and like line them all up. Why did I do this, Ellie? What did I bring this up for? Because I feel like I totally deviated.
I don't know.
now.
I don't know. I was shocked that you did it. I was shocked that you did it. But to answer your question, like I said, the last time I was excited about Sisters is when I was really eager to see the storyline with Danny going to therapy.
Yep.
Other than that, I have not been excited for it. I'm never excited. I have had so many people reach out to me because of what was dropped. Because of the Karen thing. I have said I'm not speaking on anything until July 16th when we find out something concrete. And it's fine that people have their speculations or whatever the case may be. But I know that this is what shows do. They create things, so they trying to make a buzz. And then when you watch it, it's nothing like what you thought was going to happen, whether a tragedy is on the horizon or not. But one thing I did say in my review is the writers, I had to laugh because it's so on brand. Y'all got Karen giving birth when it's a storm in Atlanta that's causing all the lights and power to flicker off and on. That's so on brand. If
So
it was a
on
damn
brand.
volcano, if it was a volcano in Atlanta, y'all would have erupted that mug for her to give birth while the volcano is shooting out hot lava. She just can't go give birth at a hospital on a night where it's clear skies. Oh no.
Yep.
She got to be giving birth when it's a storm brewing outside. Of course. Hey, writers, baby, that is so
But
on
because
brand.
our
I can't
girl
even be
knows
mad
how to suffer
it's on
well,
brand.
she gonna birth these babies beautifully amidst it all, and her man gonna be right there to tell her how great she did. I wonder what his push present gonna be for her. I am excited for the Aaron and Karen of it all. I'm excited for that. And I'm tempering how I'm allowing myself to get excited going into season 9. But if I'm excited about anything, I'm excited to see what happens for Aaron and Karen next.
I see that.
They deserve.
I can see that. Yeah. Yeah. It's been a long time coming.
Hello.
It's been a long time coming. It really has been.
Well, y'all, that is
Yeah.
pretty much it, right, Allie? For the art of suffering. Did you have anything else you want to add for this episode?
What I will say, and this to all the men, because I do want to give a shout out to the men in this instance. If you are a man who has truly embraced the art of suffering well, do not despise your humble beginnings. Do not give in when the weight gets a little too heavy. If you know what is purpose for you, what is destined for you, just keep on in the fight, keep on in the journey. For women that has a man in their life that show up like that, I just pray for your ability to pivot in a way that doesn't take years upon years, that you do it in a genuine way, that you can experience everything that you want to experience in life. And to everybody who's listening, we all have to pivot. We're all going to suffer. We are not exempt from that. We all have to experience it. And like Erica said in the beginning that I thought was so important, feel the feelings. Feel the feelings of pain, that hurt, that it's okay, because they're going to arise. Feel them. You can wear them, but just let it be passing feelings. Don't allow them to take residence in your life, because suffering is going to happen. But just pivot and learn to embrace what is trying to be produced in you in your season or seasons of suffering. That's and as we go through season 9 of Sisters, I pray that we can suffer well, because y'all already know we're going to be dealing with some mess. And also, y'all pray for us too, because like I said in my review, Sisters has already been renewed and season 10 has already been filmed. Yeah. We gonna have to learn how to suffer well in that too, because we got 44 for sure more episodes of Sisters. Please be with us. Be with us.
Just be with Karen and Aaron on the time code, please. Just meet me halfway. I could suffer well if I get to see enough Aaron and Karen.
Yes. Ooh. Yes.
Y'all, we thank you so much for kicking it with us during the hiatus. We now have the official start time, which we have been predicting as July 16th this entire time, but we kept our Sisters Keeper going for most of the hiatus, giving y'all new episodes every single week, deep diving into the characters, their journeys, the overall Sisters universe, and various themes that we wanted to discuss more, and we hope that you guys have enjoyed it. It is with this episode that we are going to take a brief hiatus before coming back on premiere night to do new Our Sisters Keeper episodes as a live after show again once we have new premiering episodes. But we are going to be taking about 2 weeks off to go ahead and rest up and prepare ourselves. In the meantime, in between time, if you have missed an Our Sisters Keeper episode, you can check the playlist, which I will link in the description box down below, and you can go ahead and get into it. I probably will put in like 5 of like my favorite episodes from the hiatus as well, in case you might have missed those, because we have done so many. And I'm so grateful to you, Allie, for staying on this journey while we didn't have new episodes, but it's created a moment for us to be able to have space to have some of the conversations that we have been meaning to have. So I thoroughly enjoyed it and really appreciated this time with you.
Enjoyed it as well, and I think this is probably going to be one of my, it's 2 for sure. That one video I don't think has come up yet, but it was where we didn't know it was going to turn the way that it did as we were speaking. That was one that was really good. And even with this one, I think it was like, wow, I didn't think it was gonna, go that way. Like, we was literally like rewriting some of the things that was happening. I'm like, wow, that was really good. Yeah. And even with this one, to record the first 25 minutes and for it to be so on brand with the topic of the video, And it just and what it did for me, honestly, because we talked briefly before, we got on, but it just really showed me how that we are exactly where we are supposed to be in our journey, with content creation, with the way that even these videos were supposed to be delivered and recorded. The fact that that happened on the Art of Suffering Well, and being able, like you said, things happen, certain things we can't control, or it could be user error on our ends, but how we adapt and move forward when those things happen, and really being an example of what that looks like to the people who follow us and listen to us. Because it's one thing to set up a camera and be fraud, but it's one thing
Yep.
too that I really appreciate about both of us. If we not feeling something, we ain't feeling it. It's just what it is. It ain't no falsehood over here. It is what it is, and this how we feel about it. Whether we be the only two who feel that way, we not changing our stance because the majority feels or thinks something, thinks something else. And I do appreciate that about us both, and even the people who do really rock with us sincerely, even the people who don't like us but they choose to listen. I appreciate that as well, because
Yeah.
it's something that we're saying that's hitting you where it needs to hit you. So I do appreciate that. But yeah, this video truly let me know we are exactly where we are supposed to be in the
I
journey
love
that God
that.
has us on,
I love
individually
that.
and collectively.
I love that. I think you're so right.
So yeah.
Y'all check out Allie's channel at Allie Nick Official. She has done the season 9 breakdown for the trailer or the teaser. I'm sure she'll do a trailer in the next couple weeks as we get ready to go into this new season, as well as other dope story conversations around past shows as well as newer shows. She's handling House of Pain, so if you watch Tyler Perry's House of Pain, she's breaking that down on her channel as well. Get into it. There's still so much content, even though we won't do a new episode of Our Sister's Keeper until it's premiere night. So please, please, please get into it. Like this live and drop a comment and let us know what you thought about not only this episode, but maybe what has been your favorite Our Sister's Keeper episode thus far. And we'll see you in a few weeks. Good
Yes.
night.
Good night, y'all.